With the new DLC's update coming to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, we should be getting new stories for all the characters involved in the Dragon Ball Superhero mode, such as Gohan and Piccolo. They should obviously be getting new stories, right? Because Gohan and Piccolo, they have lots to offer from Superhero. And when we're talking about the Sparking Zero story, the most interesting part is, of course, the what-if scenarios. What new what-ifs can we get from the Dragon Ball Superhero part of the story? Are we going to get a what-if where Orange Piccolo is the one that takes down Cell Max? Or maybe one where even Goku and Vegeta actually sense a power struggle going on and they head to Earth to assist in the battle of Cell Max. Gohan and Piccolo already have some of the most interesting what-ifs in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, such as Gohan Black, and what if Piccolo became Gohan's mentor during the Cell games rather than Goku, and this can lead to some very, very promising stuff. Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoj here, back to more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and this time I just wanted to quickly go over a few of the episodes that Gohan and Piccolo both have to just talk about how Sparking Zero's what-if potential is absurd. We can actually start this with Goku's what-if, because Goku has some pretty insane ones towards the beginning of the story. Unfortunately, Goku, for some reason, just gets really, really less interesting what-ifs the longer his story goes on. If I recall, in the Namek saga, he doesn't even have, like, one interesting what-if. So that's kind of tragic, but to be fair, that is his best saga. They probably didn't want to mess with the story on that one at all. They want to keep it very true because it's a lot of people's favorite arc. But for the Saiyan saga, Goku has many, many interesting ones. Like what if Krillin helps him defeat Raditz? Or what if he just beats Raditz legit without like dying? And it leads to just so many different interesting versions of the Dragon Ball story. Like him unlocking Super Saiyan against Great Ape Vegeta. And then fighting Super Saiyan Vegeta on Namek because Super Saiyan Vegeta already beat Frieza. And now Super Saiyan Goku with Super Saiyan Vegeta fighting on Namek. And it's just insane, right? Goku, all of his interesting what ifs, they're in the Saiyan saga. And then you never see them ever again. Extremely tragic to say the least. But we do get more interesting ones when we go over to Gohan and Piccolo's side of the story. Now, in comparison to Goku, who gets his more interesting what-ifs at the beginning of the story, Gohan gets his interesting ones towards the end of the story. Now, if you do well against Frieza, depending on what you do, if you don't do well against Frieza and you do the canon thing where Gohan loses, you go straight to the Tournament of Power, where there are 3 fights, and obviously, you know, they're all canon fights, right? But if you do super good against Frieza in Gohan's story, you would go on to an entire other separate story where Gohan beats the hell out of Golden Frieza in his ultimate form, and then naturally he goes to the future, and since Gohan is the strongest mortal in that timeline rather than Goku, Goku Black is no longer real, he's now Gohan Black. And that leads to its own insane crazy thing where even Fused Zamasu looks different because it's Gohan as the other half of the fusion rather than Goku. And it's honestly insane that they put that much detail in, but for some reason you can't play Gohan Black or you can't play Fused Zamasu with Gohan Black's design. It's so weird because the Fused Zamasu one, that's like literally just a slight appearance change. That one should be fine. I maybe could somewhat understand the Gohan Black one, but the Fused Zamasu one is just weird. Like it's literally just a slightly different face and different hair, and that's not a playable character. That's just really unfortunate, really unfair. Make all of these real costumes in DLC 1, or at least a future update at least. And stuff like that is great and dandy, but just like how Vegeta doesn't have a completed story in Sparking Zero, yes, Vegeta's story entered the Buu saga for some ungodly reason in Sparking Zero. Gohan should have more, and you can see there's even more dots here. So Gohan should have more when the Superhero DLC drops. Obviously he would have his fight against Gamma 1. Maybe they'll do an extra what if fight against Gamma 2 if they really want to pad things out. But most likely it'll be Gamma 1, fight with Cell Max when he's Ultimate Gohan, and a fight with Cell Max when he's Beast Gohan, right? All that good stuff. We won't have the Red Ribbon Army map. Very unfortunate because it's not in the trailer. So to our knowledge so far, it's not in the game. There's no new map for the game. It doesn't look like they'll be doing a Xenoverse 2 free update kind of thing. It looks like there just won't be a new map. But at least Gohan will have his canon fights, right? Now, what if all those canon fights have different what if options? Like, what if you beat Gamma 1 really fast, rather than doing the natural thing where they stall and then they go like equal because Orange Piccolo beats Gamma 2? What if you just beat Gamma 1 really fast? Does that lead into a different version of the story where maybe Cell Max never gets awakened because Gohan just beats the Gammas really quickly? Or maybe it leads to a version where Cell Max gets awakened super early and Piccolo doesn't have an orange form yet, and Gamma 2 works alongside Cell Max since he just saw his brother lose against Gohan. So now you have to deal with like a much harder version of the story, you know? There's so many different versions we could have. What if Ultra Instinct Goku and Beast Gohan team up against Cell Max as like the last attack because Goku senses that power fighting on Earth and he warps down, he's in his full gi, he goes Ultra Instinct, and then we see a double Kamehameha, we see another father-son Kamehameha. You know, they could do that. It's Sparking, so they could do that. We could even see another father-son Kamehameha against Cell again, but this time it's the final forms of Goku and Gohan. Or maybe even anything different, something different. We could get a new version of Orange Piccolo versus Cell Max, probably from the Piccolo version of the story, which I should be talking about now, because this is a double feature, alright. They are both the main characters of that movie. So Piccolo has some very interesting what-ifs as well. He has one where, you know, what if he does a lot better in the Saiyan Saga where he just doesn't die, he's way stronger, he beats Nappa sooner, and he gets to help Goku against Vegeta, right? That's really, really cool. All that good stuff. He has one in the Frieza Saga where if you pick a different path altogether, then Piccolo just, you know, he gets like way stronger. And that's very interesting. That's very interesting to say the least. And he also survives his encounters with Frieza. You also have the one where he helps Goku with the heart virus rather than like just letting Goku just get cooked for like no reason. Like if you just let Goku get cooked, you go through the normal timeline where, you know, he fights first from Cell and he gets stronger, then he fights 117, and then that's actually where his story canonically ends. We do see more dots, so maybe that's where the superhero story would take place. And then he has another what if story variation where if you help Goku with the heart virus, it's that Goku has faith in Piccolo's strength and his leadership abilities and his abilities to assess danger. And he's like, hey, you should train Gohan since I'm still just struggling with this heart virus kind of thing. And that leads to a very different version of the Cell Saga where, you know, Piccolo is Gohan's mentor. And you can teach Gohan two different paths where he can either learn to control his rage, like his mental strength, or control his physical strength as a fighter. And that obviously changes the outcome of the Cell games itself. Now, Piccolo's story is laughably short in Sparking Zero. You can literally see that it's just like these, if you just go canon only, no what ifs, 2 fights in the Saiyan Saga, 1 Frieza Saga fight, 3 fights in the Cell Saga, and then it's done. That's it. Keep in mind, some of these fights are really easy because it's supposed to be ones like him beating second from Frieza, which is a very easy fight for Piccolo in canon. Ones like him beating Gohan, which is a damn tutorial, basically, you know. Like, Piccolo's story could definitely benefit from being longer, 100%. And that's where the strength of the superhero DLC would come in, because obviously it would give him something to do. First fight in the story against Gamma 2. Second fight is when his power awakens against Gamma 2. And then third fight, you could have him be Orange Piccolo, or maybe you could have him transform mid-fight through the second fight to be Orange Piccolo. But they'll probably just save it for like a third fight just to pad out the content. So yeah, third fight Orange Piccolo. Then obviously you would have the Orange or Power Awakened Piccolo and Orange Piccolo versus Cell Max, and then Giant Orange Piccolo versus Cell Max as maybe his final fight alongside Beast Gohan in that one. That's a very easy way to do his story. You know, there's no fuss, no muss, straight to the brain, stuff like that. The what ifs for that one are probably harder to tell. There's probably maybe one where he beats Gamma 2 in the first fight. Maybe I have to say, because I don't know what would even, how different could the story be if he beats Gamma 2 in the first fight, right? So there'll probably just be one for maybe he doesn't need Orange form against Gamma 2, and he just beats him as Power Awakened. He just does really well, which again makes Gamma 1 team up with Cell Max, and that would lead to just a harder version of that fight, basically. No Beast Gohan, no Orange Piccolo versus Cell Max. Or one that we have seen before, a very easy one to get away with. You can just have Orange Piccolo team up with Beast Gohan for the double special room canon that we see in not only Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, but Xenoverse 2 as well. It's a very easy one to do, very easy to get away with. It's a reference that everyone would appreciate. They would literally just be like, if anything, I expect about What If, right? That's probably the easiest one to do, and it's basically just gonna happen, alright? Like, all the key relevant parts of Piccolo's story that they do pick in the game is always him being teamed up with Gohan, or, you know, his character relations with Gohan. Even his, like, you know, his greatest what if is the one where he teams up with Gohan instead and becomes Gohan's mentor, rather than Goku being Gohan's mentor for the Cell games. It'd be really easy to just make all of Superhero have his events be focused around Gohan, not only just because they're the two main characters in that movie, but because it's just Piccolo's entire character, in this game especially. All of the story parts just have to do with Gohan. I would like to see more story content from the DLC overall in general. Like, for example, again, Vegeta's story ends at the Buu Saga, which is really weird because you have him standing. Oh god, it's so weird. Look, if you have, look at this, right? Vegeta's story ends at the Buu Saga and there's no more dots afterwards. It's not gonna go into anything else. But I would like to see if they would at least do a DBS story for this guy. You know, he stands on this thing in his DBS outfit. It's the darker blue. He's got like the extra like big soles, the big platforms on the bottom of his shoes from DBS Broly, right? This is his DBS Broly design. But he doesn't even fight Beerus. This doesn't even reach into the end of Z where he fights Beerus or Golden Frieza. He's just stuck on the Buu Saga. But then if you go to like Gohan and Piccolo, right? And they're in their DBZ designs, but if you go to the end of their stories, over here, you see that there's more dots leading onward, showing that, yeah, we're gonna make more stuff for them. And that's just like, dude, look, I'm glad they get more stuff, 100%, don't get me wrong. But there are characters who really, really need it, you know? Vegeta really needs it. So, yeah, I don't know. I just hope that they do more story stuff in general, because story for Sparking Zero, I'm not gonna say it's like bad or anything, but it's stuff you would expect from a Dragon Ball game. The stuff you'd want to see is new stuff. It's the what ifs, right? So stuff like fighting like Cell Max, you know, playing Beast Gohan, playing Orange Piccolo, that's the new stuff people want to see. But playing through the regular story of Sparking Zero, we've seen that all a billion times. We've seen Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time 100,000 times. We've seen the Super Spirit Bomb against Kid Buu a gazillion times. We've seen this all before, you know? So I think Sparking Zero's story mode would honestly thrive better and be way stronger in these new events. So, I don't know. Yeah, without further ado, that's probably a great place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, obviously again, please leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe as it greatly supports the channel. And leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care and peace.